Merry Christmas, everybody. And to all you kids out there, be listening Christmas Eve night for those boot steps. You know, if you hear them, that means you've been a good kid. Keep it up. You're going to get presents. But you got to keep it up, okay? And to all you parents out there, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. All right. So, Galveston, Texas, electric park at night. Who knew? I'm from Bay City, about an hour and a half, whatever, hour and some change from Galveston. Did not know about electric park. Did not know about a lot of the stuff that was in Galveston in the 1800s, early 1900s, mostly the 1800s. The storm, 1901, I think it is, completely wiped out a lot of it. But you know, the infrastructure that was there in the 1800s is fascinating, and it brings so many questions to the mind, and we're going to go through those. I'm going to do some videos on Texas cities in the early days, and we're just going to talk about it. You know, raise some questions. How the heck they do that? If one of the 16 subscribers I have is an architect, call me. You know, and we're just gonna have fun with it, man. We're just gonna and I'm gonna say some outlandish stuff. Duh. Some ridiculous things. And if you're offended, well, you're probably the one who took away the El Paso grape. The El Paso Mission grape. You're going to feel for this guy. You're going to feel his fury through this article. Can anyone tell me what has become of the original El Paso or Mission grape? That toothsome and luscious fruit of 20 years ago that made a reputation in every portion of Texas in the Southwest where it was known. The grape that was shipped out of El Paso in those days was a medium-sized black grape with a tender, thin skin. When a man's molars shut down on it, his mouth was filled with a nectar sweet and wholesome enough for the gods. As he worked on those grapes, his very soul was filled with an ecstatic joy, and the inner man constantly cried for more. The average individual could encase about a half a basket of those grapes, not feel that he had taken on more than he could conveniently carry. And quite the contest with the feeling in his very soul that he wanted more grapes. The grapes that are being sold now in El Paso are not the grapes of 20 years ago. They are larger, have a thicker and tougher skin, are not one half so sweet, and do not inspire the longing for more that accompanied the mastication of the grapes of long ago. In fact, there's a harrowing suspicion that assorted commercialism has brought into the valley here some varieties of California grapes, which have been permitted to supplant the real and genuine El Paso or Mission grape. And that these California grapes are being inflicted upon the consumer in the guise of the El Paso or Mission grape. While this has been done, no one seems to be able to explain. The original El Paso or Mission grape had been in this valley for hundreds of years, having been brought here by the Spanish fathers back in the days when they were fresh from Spain. This grape thrived and developed here into the very perfection of grape growing. The vines were prolific and easy of propagation. There was an eager demand for every pound of these grapes that could be produced in the valley. And the question is, why has there been this substitution? Why are these California grapes being grown here in the natural habitat of the El Paso or Mission grape, and why are they palmed off on an unsuspecting public as the real thing? Certainly, there must be some vineyards in the valley that are yet producing a pure strain of the original El Paso and Mission grape. There must be some grape growers in the vicinity of El Paso or Juarez who has not crossed the El Paso or Mission grapes with the California substitute. And if so, there certainly would appear to be a great field open for him. There will always be a demand for these grapes in the very greatest quantities that they can possibly be produced. From the fact that where they are once introduced, they quickly take the place of all other grapes. Thousands of acres planted in this grape in the Rio Grande Valley would not oversupply the demand, and the Times hopes to see such a revival in the production of the El Paso or Mission grape as it will do justice to the reputation of this grape in the country which was once famous for its production. Aside from the demand for the fruit of the El Paso or Mission grape, there ought to be a continued and steady demand for the vines for planting purposes sufficient to justify their propagation on a large scale. What happened? What happened to the El Paso Mission grape? I'm gonna have to look into it now because I am pissed. These Californians just come into Texas, think they can do whatever they want, steal our grapes, turn men into women. Okay, I'll end there.